We've got a great AFC West rivalry matchup here as Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos take on Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. Both teams are well within the thick of the playoff race as the Denver Broncos are 6-6, and with their close loss to the Houston Texans, are sitting ninth overall in the AFC playoff standings. The Los Angeles Chargers are 5-7 after their dominant victory over the New England Patriots, 6-0, and puts them at 12th, and so behind the Bengals and the Bills, and then a game back on the Broncos. So major game for both these teams. Chargers need one in the worst way, but so do the Broncos as well. So this is just going to be a hard fought matchup here between two teams that I think are just kind of existing. I would say the Broncos had their 5-game winning streak, Ryan, and they beat some good teams along the way. But I think the challenges that they had been facing or with the team, I think kind of came to fruition against the Texans here, which is one of the reasons why that they weren't able to pull forward. And the Chargers as well. I mean, a win is a win against the New England Patriots, but it's still, though, only put up 6 points. I think it's one of the issues as well is this offense just I think they're very injured as well, especially in the receiving position. So kind of want to throw it over to you. What are your overall thoughts on kind of both these teams and what does each team have to do to kind of come out victorious this Sunday?
So the thing that I think is interesting is last year the Broncos, despite being so awful, still had a top 10 defense in both running and passing, right? They were top 5 in scoring as well. And this year they're like 31st, I believe, in passing defense and then like 22nd or 23rd in rushing defense. It's just not a good defense in the slightest. And part of that, I think, was due to some early season woes, statistically, why they haven't been doing well. Luckily, in this matchup, I think right now they're coming in with the defense that is playing better. I know the Chargers just pitched a shutout against the Patriots, but hey, playing high school offenses is pretty easy to do when you're an NFL player. So that's like that to me is a really interesting battle that's going to take place in this game. Also, this Chargers run defense is still horrible. And I'm really curious, not that I think Denver's rushing offense is a complete world beater, but I do think that, especially over the last few games, they've been able to take advantage of some lesser run defenses and really kind of get something going on the ground. I have Javonte Williams on my fantasy, and I think he's had over 12 points the last 3 or 4 weeks when he's been healthy. So I think it's just going to be a really interesting game to watch because I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring than what people originally think with how poor these defenses have played throughout the year statistically. But I do think that these defenses have improved throughout the year. I do give the edge, I think, actually to the Broncos, who statistically have the worst defense. Another thing that I think will be interesting, the Chargers are not a good running team. And will they be able to exploit this Denver Broncos running defense that I think is second worst in the NFL at the moment? So,
yeah, that's one of the things. I think statistically, when it comes to some of the Broncos stats as well, I think they could probably improve a little bit in their run defense overall, but a lot of that I think is inflated. Where their stats are at
350-yard game,
350, and really just kind of that whole first half of the season. But if you go look at their passing offense, they honestly slowed down C.J. Stroud to just 264 passing yards. And then that's the most they've given up since week 6. And that's going all the way back to Kansas City when the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, put up 293 passing yards on them. So I think they're going to be able to stymie Keenan Allen. I think they're going to be able to stop Justin Herbert and the passing game as well, just with the improvement overall in the secondary. Also, Pat Surtain's one of the best corners. He did get a little banged up in the last game where he missed some time, but he came back in and fought through it. So not too concerning overall. I think the thing for me and is with this Broncos is they're not going to be able to truly exploit. I think probably the biggest weakness against the Chargers, and that's their passing defense. The Chargers they have given up the second most yards so far in the NFL, and actually then I want to double check see how many passing touchdowns that they've given up. They've given up 17 passing touchdowns, which puts them eighth on the list on total touchdowns allowed. And I say that just because Russell Wilson is just not able to really put up these not even godlike numbers, just average 225, 250 plus yard numbers over these past just the season at all. Time to wake up. So if we go look at just the passing yards that his performances, he's only thrown over 230 yards 1, 2, 3 times so far this season. So that's where I'm curious if the Chargers are able to go and put up some points, if the defense just give up a couple of drives to get up to 21 points. It's kind of like what you said. I think you said in the last video, where it's like that magic number for teams is 21 points. If they can get 21 points against the Broncos, you have a good chance of winning because the Broncos do struggle to score more than that on a pretty consistent basis. Or if you get to 21 or 22, that's where a lot of times the Broncos at least stall out,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting here. But then to your point, though, how are the Chargers going to be able to stop the run game of Denver? Because that's one thing that I think has been very efficient for them, especially in the second half of the season, where they are actually above average in the league with just shy of 1,400 rushing yards. So it's going to be a great game. I can go a lot of different ways on how either team can win. But let's get into our predictions here. Before we do that, if you have not already, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Right now, we have a goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. That's a very odd number, and the reason why that is because if we hit that number, we would have grown our channel by 2,000 subscribers within this calendar year. So help us reach our goal. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Ryan, who do you have winning this game and why?
This is a tough one. I think these are two evenly matched teams for all the wrong reasons. But I'm going to go with the Chargers at home. I don't love it. I definitely think the Broncos are a team that could come in and win, especially with that pass defense being as bad as it is. I think that would allow the Broncos to have a much more balanced approach. But I have to go with the better quarterback here in Justin Herbert. I think there was bad weather last week in New England, which I think is a large contributor to why they didn't put up 24 over there.
Yeah.
And so I think they'll get it right, and they'll be able to break that magic 21 number against the Denver Broncos here.
Okay. I'm actually going to disagree. This will be our first disagreement of the week. I'll go with the Denver Broncos. I do feel that the Broncos will just be more efficient overall through the year. The Broncos' pass defense, I think, is going to stymie the Justin Herbert and the Chargers, who actually do have some they've just been kind of decimated in the receiver room. Overall, Mike Williams has been out. Josh Palmer has been out and Austin Eckler. Sorry, I want to say Austin Kelly, and I knew that wasn't it. It's Joshua Kelly, who's back up. He's been in and out of the lineup this season and just hasn't had, I feel like, that significant spark back to the passing game. But I think a lot of that, though, too, is because teams are able to kind of press up a little bit more, knowing that Quentin Johnson's their number 2 receiver, and he's still just a rookie receiver. So I'm having to rely on some guys that they're normally not able to rely on. And at the same time, I think with how weak this Chargers passing defense is, I think they're going to be able to the Broncos are going to be able to efficiently move the ball down the field. And actually, I say passing defense. I think just defense in general with how well they should be able to run the ball with Javonte Williams. But then when they do throw the ball, hopefully you need short, easy passes for Russell Wilson to Cortland Sutton, who's really come on over the last couple of games. So we're going to go with the Broncos, but honestly, it could go either way.
Yeah, it's going to be a really close game. Usually, these division matchups are. This to me, I think, is a must-win game for both these teams because if the Broncos fall to 6-7, then they would have the tiebreaker loss between uh, the Chargers, and then they'd be maybe too far on the outside looking in. And then if the Chargers lose this, they'd be at 5-8, which would put them even further back than what the Broncos would be with 4 games left. So it'll be it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. But let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Is it going to be the Denver Broncos? Is it going to be the Los Angeles Chargers? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.